where he was only was sitting down. He was safe, but at the same time there was more than a dozen policemen in the square, now fanning out, all of them armed and held. The police came by coincidence, or did they know Matt was here? Was this just another raid, or were they looking for him? The question was unanswered in an instant as the passenger door of one of the police cars opened, and a man got out. It was Captain Rogers. He was standing directly under a street lamp, and it cast a glow across his face with his rough-pitted skin and heavy moustache. He looked like a boxer stepping into the ring, and as his eyes swung across the square, Matt knew without any doubt at all that his phone call to Fabian had been interrupted, and that he had walked straight into another trap. He stood up forcing himself not to panic. Rodriguez hadn't seen him since Motel Europa, and he didn't know what he looked like. Look what he looked like now that he was in disguise. There still was plenty of people around the two of them. Could just walk away, mingling with the crowd. Pedro dug his hand into his trouser pocket when he brought it out. He was holding his rubber slingshot. Matt shook his head. "Not now, Pedro," he said. "There are too many of them." Pedro frowned, then seemed to understand. He put the slingshot away again. The scream of a whistle cut through the air. Suddenly all the policemen were running towards the two of them, as if they had known they were all along and had simply been playing a game. Another car cut in from behind. Rodriguez was pointing directly at them and shouting. Tourists and travellers stood gaping, afraid, finding themselves caught up in the middle of something. They didn't want to see the friendly mask of a country they had come to visit had slipped to reveal the brutal beneath. There were armed police everywhere. Matt saw at once that all four corners of the square were cut off. The trap had closed in from every side. There were two police cars speeding towards them. They would reach them in seconds. That left just one direction. Up. The cars couldn't follow them. Up the steps. He looked around and saw that Pedro had walked this out for himself. He was already halfway up, heading for a group of Europeans standing together at the top. to at the top they'd been about to have their photograph taken in front of the cathedral when the police raid began, but now they were just starting out slack-jawed. Matt saw Pedro barge through them. Why, he glanced back and understood some of the policemen had taken out their guns. Pedro had seen the danger, but at the same time he had guessed that they weren't going to fire anywhere near tourists. His move had been quite calculated. He was using the Europeans as a human shield. Matt joined him, climbing up the last 5 steps and then across the top next to the cathedral. The tourists scattered. Someone cried out. Pedro was moving like the wind, and Matt wondered if he would be able to keep up. Already he had discovered something he had suspect all along. It was almost impossible to run in Cusco. The air was too thin. He couldn't have been going for more than half a minute, and his head was pounding. His throat was sore, and he thought he was about to faint. He forced himself on not wanting to be left behind. Pedro was one of the five that couldn't lose him now. But Pedro was looking out for Matt as a policeman swung around the corner. He shouted out a warning. Matt looked low was an explosion, and one of the stone steps spat dust. They were shouting at him. Matt felt a trauma of disbelief. Rodriguez had given orders to take him dead or alive. The shotgun had been a mistake. Now everyone in the square was panicking, running in all directions, desperate to get away for a moment. The police found themselves powerless. The boys were out of sight. Then something strange happened. The policeman who had fired the shot threw himself backwards and lay sprawling. Matt twisted around and saw that the slingshot was in Pedro's hand. He certainly knew how to use it. The policeman had been standing in front of a road that was otherwise unguarded. Matt forced some air into his lungs and set off. Out of sight, that was the key. Matt knew they had to get under cover. They had to find somewhere to hide. Give them a bit of time and maybe they could work out what to do next. Subscribe, share, like, hit the bell, click on my hand screen for now, please. Subscribe, hit the bell, share, thank you. Click on my title. Go watch my videos from start to finish. Thank you.